Hey fellow leaders, welcome to today's Military Writing Smarter in 6 segment about what surprised me about ILE Phase I, coming at you from the Military Writing Command Center. Are you starting ILE soon, or at least some point in your officer timeline? I recently finished up Phase I, and I'm here to tell you what that was like, and especially what surprised me. This video will really help to prepare you for the writing that you'll be doing, so let's dig in! So what is ILE like? I've only completed Phase I so far, and I did it in person as opposed to through distance learning. Truthfully, I really liked Phase I. I thought that the readings were fantastic and well chosen, though I can't and won't discuss outright what these readings were, as they're not public knowledge and aren't to be shared with non-students. The only issue with the readings is that there are a lot of them for every block of instruction. So that would be the one advantage to doing distance learning, being able to pace yourself and spreading out all of the readings. The welcome packet will point you to some online videos about how to speed read, but that kind of goes against my very nature, right? As composition and literature instructors, we teach students how to read critically and slowly, noting the wording and details that are within the text. And maybe you're sharper at this than I am, but I need a slower pace and to highlight and annotate my readings in order for me to truly retain anything that I've read. So just skimming through readings wasn't a good option for me. So I think, at least for myself, the volume of readings while sticking to an in-person class schedule was the hardest part of Phase I for me. Just keeping up with it and being prepared without sacrificing tons of sleep and the other tasks that we needed to accomplish. We did a lot of group work, especially creating short presentations about different topics. This was actually great, and I'll be very honest here. I usually feel pretty frustrated when working in groups, because people are unreliable or don't pull their weight, but this was different. The thing that really stood out to me at ILE was that the level of maturity, commitment to the profession, and seriousness about getting something real out of the course seemed light years beyond what I had seen from my peers and of course the lieutenant course and the captain's career course experiences. And I felt like everyone really appreciated the other students and what they brought to the table. We all came from so many different military and occupational backgrounds. And I knew that about ILE, that officers from all of the branches come together, and I thought that was fantastic. I had heard from just about everyone that the very best part of ILE was getting to network and engage with peers from all over and from different professional fields and MOS branches, and I wholeheartedly agree. I kind of expected Phase I to be more like the end of Captain's Career Course, doing MDMP and taking on different staff roles. I was actually a little nervous about that because that's the stuff that I'm rusty on. But that comes later on in ILE. Phase I is really giving you an awesome foundation for identifying what it truly means to be a leader and thinking echelons above what most of us have actually experienced in our company grade roles. There's definitely an emphasis on public speaking through briefing and writing, and I expect that will continue throughout all of ILE. What surprised me about ILE? Well, I just wasn't sure what the expectations for writing would be, and no matter how experienced of a writer you are, you always want to know what your instructors want essays to be like so that you can create a product that aligns with that. They say that it's a master's degree level course, and I truly believe that that's true when it comes to the content and the discussions and the analytical approach. But, and it's probably good news to everyone, I got the impression from all of the instructors who I spoke with that a 5-paragraph style essay is what they want just about every time. And that's kind of more of a high school type of approach. You know, placing kind of a 3-pronged thesis statement into your introduction, very specifically restating and answering the prompt question, having a clear topic sentence for each of your 3 main body paragraphs, and then wrapping everything up in the conclusion by basically reiterating the points that you've already made. I don't have a problem with any of this at all. It provides a very clear, methodical way to convey your thoughts, and your reader, expecting this type of format, kind of knows exactly where to find your main points. It's very easy to quickly browse through, which really aligns with military writing in general, right? Keep it short, to the point, convey your ideas quickly and clearly. The only thing I'll note is that most college and grad school professors usually want students to veer away from the one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter format that goes along with a 5-paragraph essay. So if you've expanded out and gotten more sophisticated with essays in the past, you'll kind of need to rein it back in and go back to this type of approach. There's no doubt whatsoever that you can have sophisticated ideas with lots of complexities and still present those within a 5-paragraph essay. Just know that your instructors don't want you getting creative about your essay structure. They truly want it to be the introduction, the 3 main body paragraphs, and the conclusion. So my advice is not to deviate from that. Additionally, I also touched on it just a minute ago, but military writing also values short sentences, accessible wording, and extreme clarity. The paragraphs and sentences should be super easy to consume quickly without going back to reread. Granted, I think that's a good rule of thumb for any writing, but I also know that I tend to vary up my sentences and often include some long ones with lots of detail. Those sentences are still clearly written and easy to follow, but someone grading my ILE essays would probably say that my normal sentences are too long. And they want the paragraphs to be pretty short as well. You should always have a minimum of 3 sentences in a normal academic writing paragraph, but the instructors I talked to really didn't want paragraphs to have any more than about 4 sentences. So I think the good news is that if you like being provided with a format to follow and having very specific guidance about how to construct your essays, then military writing in courses like ILE, AOC, MLC, and the Sergeant's Major Academy will really speak to you. And I really think it's important for you to understand those specific rules or expectations. There's kind of a formula to it, and of course your thesis and your analysis is entirely up to you, but you need to closely follow the rules for everything else. On September 8th, I'll be releasing a Smarter in 6 segment all about 5-paragraph essays, so I highly encourage you to tune in for that one. Maybe even subscribe now to my channel so you don't accidentally miss it. The other thing you can do starting September 1st is to visit my website, militarywriting.com, and get free access to strong 5-paragraph essay examples so you can see for yourself how those rules and formats work with real essays. I'll also have a couple of additional essays with instructor comments, with myself as the instructor, to show you what approaches you might get dinged for when it comes to grading. My experience with Phase I was that there wasn't a ton of writing. Granted, the course was only 10 or 11 days long of classroom instruction, so I'm not sure what I was expecting. It wasn't like they were going to assign 5 or 6 essays over just 10 work days. Including the essay that was already due upon arrival at the course, there were 3 writing assignments, and I think that was very doable. From what I understand, there will be quite a few more writing assignments once I get into Phase II. There were kind of a bunch of hoops to jump through to prepare for the course. I did my Phase I at Fort McCoy in Wisconsin, which I actually really loved. But reservists had to go through a big process to get special internet access there. I'm not sure if that's true for the other in-person locations, and that was a pretty time-consuming, confusing process, so take that seriously, and know that it involves completing trainings and getting approvals from higher up. It felt like a lot of work, and it was stressful, but I was definitely glad that I had it all worked out prior to getting on ground. I read and reread the course guidance about 5 times when I received it, especially because they didn't organize it into like a checklist, and so you kind of felt like a detective really having to read closely and highlighting the specific tasks. There's no doubt that if you didn't concentrate and look at it carefully, you'd easily miss some crucial things. So anyway, just be aware that you will definitely have some read-ahead assignments as well as a short essay to write. Even if you're not a big nerd like me who wants to be 100% prepared, you really don't want to make a bad first impression with your instructors, so following all of the guidance, even when it's a little confusing to decipher, seems like a smart way to start the course. So, to wrap up, ILE is a lot. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot of analytical thinking, but the good kind, about issues that are truly relevant to leaders in our profession. And the amount of writing is reasonable, but it's still kind of nerve-wracking because you're new to ILE and the expectations there. And many people are pretty rusty on their writing skills and put a ton of pressure on themselves. I think the best things you can do are stay organized, read and retain as many of the readings as possible, keep your mindset and your resiliency right so you can stay focused on Phase I for this short but intensive duration, and get really comfortable and familiar with the 5-paragraph essay model. Also, Every block of instruction has its own learning objectives and a PDF document that helps to guide your reading and prepare for class discussions. This is gold, and you should definitely keep your eye on those specific focal areas. I'll be offering more instruction on that in the future, and stay tuned for that September 8th episode that will cover many of these specifics. I hope this Smarter in 6 segment really resonated with you. We know that every instructor is going to prioritize different things when it comes to our writing assignments in ILE, but now you have a much better understanding of what the overall expectations are, and that ILE can actually, surprisingly, be enjoyable if you go in with the right mindset. You know I'm here for you, and I'm excited to guide you toward becoming a more confident, capable writer. Like and subscribe down below so I can keep providing you with helpful writing guidance. Until next time, I got your 6.